In this screencast, we'll take a look at how merchants can retrieve order information that is embedded in a shopping cart button. In addition, we'll take a look at how you can view your order details through your history download and also generate reports to track your inventory. So we're going to start off here with some buttons that I've already created. To get to buttons you've already created, you go to Merchant Services. And under Create Buttons, there's an item for My Saved Buttons. And the first item we have here is a fancy shirt. Under fancy shirt, we've got a couple styles. We have a silk and a cashmere. We also have some sizes, small, medium, and large for our drop-down choices. And you can see we've got a quantity of 10 for each of those. So that's what our inventory currently looks like. I'm going to go into the edit mode for this button, and this is essentially the same view you get when you first create the button. You can give it some options like adding a drop-down menu, which I did. You can add and remove those. That all looks good. We want to keep that. All right, so silk and cashmere. I have some different prices there. When I want to track inventory, I go to step number 2, and I've selected to track my inventory based on my drop-down menu items here. So I've got silk and I've got cashmere, and I've got my stock, my quantity is 10. And I have an option here to get an alert when my inventory drops to a certain level. So if I get down to 2 shirts, I want to be alerted to that. After you make any changes to your button, you'll definitely want to save those changes. And that takes us to our page where we get the actual code we will copy and paste into our website. Click Select Code. You do a Control-C to copy it. And at this point, you can go to wherever you happen to be selling your items on the web. Maybe that's a hosted website. Maybe that's a Drupal or WordPress, or sometimes it's just a regular web page that you've created. That's what I've done. I've opened up a regular web page here in Dreamweaver, and I've copied and pasted my button there. Let's take a look at what it looks like in a browser. Here's my fancy shirts with my 2 drop-down items. I'm going to buy a cashmere shirt. We'll make it a large. And I'm going to add that to my shopping cart. At this point, I'm going over to the PayPal website where I can review my shopping cart details. And I've changed my mind. I've decided I want to get 2 of these, so I can update my quantity right from here. And now it's updated the price. I want to check out through PayPal. That gives us our order summary. Now I'm going to log in and actually complete the order so you can see the inventory change because I'm now purchasing 2 out of my 10 available shirts. Go ahead and pay now. And my order was successful. So let's go back to our merchant account screen. Now the first place you can find your order information would be under My Account. Most people are familiar with this. You come into this screen, you can then go in and click on the details, and you can drill down and find out what was ordered, the amount that was charged, etc. So here we can see we have a quantity of 2 of our fancy shirt. We have our item number, the style, the size, and that's great. But if you start doing any significant volume, drilling down into each item to try and fulfill it might be difficult. So we've got an option to go and download our history of all of our orders by going under the History tab and clicking on Download History. At this point, you can choose a custom date range, or you can do since your last download. I have different file type options available: comma delimited, tab delimited, Quicken, QuickBooks, or even a PDF. I'll choose comma delimited for all my activity. Now I'm working with shopping carts, so I want to have all the details around that shopping cart. So I want to click this checkbox here for include my shopping cart details. And then I click download history. Give that a second to download. All right, now it's downloaded. I double click on it and it loads up into Excel. And my most recent purchase is listed here. We see our $299. But you'll also notice there happen to be two rows inserted into this spreadsheet for this one purchase. And the reason is because the first row is our actual shopping cart with all the details about the shopping cart, including the total amount charged. And then underneath that is the item details. If I'd purchased 3 items, I would have one row for my shopping cart and then 3 additional rows in my spreadsheet for each item. And if we scroll to the right here, we can see on row number 2, we've got our item ID, we've got our style, we've got our size. If we scroll over a little bit further, we've got our quantity here, which is 2. So if you want to import this data or do anything with this data for your fulfillment, you can get all the details about your orders in several different formats and use those to help fulfill your business purchases. Now let's go back to the merchant site and figure out how can we find out what's going on with our inventory. We have 2 options for that. The first place would be to go into our reports section under history. And what you can do is when you get to the reports page is click on the link that says inventory profit and loss report. Now with this report you can choose a date range or you can choose a specific month that you want to bring up. But the most important thing to know about this report is this footnote at the bottom that says that the data is updated every 24 hours. And what that means is any orders that have just occurred in the last 24 hours aren't going to show up on this report. So the order I just did wouldn't be in this report if I generated it. What I do have is an example where I generated the report based on July when I did do a couple of purchases for the fancy shirt. And here you can see your item ID, the numbers, and your inventory. So if you want to know what's happened beyond 24 hours ago, you can get all that information through these ad hoc reports. And then you have an option to actually download it in different formats. But if you really want to know what's going on with your inventory at this exact moment in time, you can go into your saved buttons because buttons carry all the information along with them. In addition to the size and the style options, you can go into your fancy shirt button under My Saved Buttons, and you can see what your quantity is. So you'll notice the cashmere has gone from 10 to 8. So for up-to-date inventory, you can go and actually look at your saved button and get that information really easily. And that covers shopping cart buttons, history, and inventory tracking.